it's Colleen with Rope and Resellers. I'm here for a weekly what I sold on eBay update. And actually this is for 2 weeks, for the weeks of April 8th through the 21st, 2019. Okay, I'm going to be honest, not a lot sold this week. Actually the last 2 weeks. So just remember this is 2 weeks worth, and I'm just going to show you a few of the highlights. I sold a lot of clothes. I had everything in clothing 20% off. I do have one example of it in here, but beyond that, I'm just going to show you sort of the more unique things. First thing, hair cross beetle Pokemon figure on a disc. It sold for $14.99. It had free shipping. So I spent about 50 cents on this. I did have a video. This was a haul from a Goodwill. I'm looking for little tiny things in bags in the kids aisle or even in the crafts aisle, and looking for junk in bags at Goodwill. So anyway, this worked out to be about 50 cents. $2.10 in PayPal and eBay fees, $3.36 in shipping costs, $9.03 total profit. It took 2 months to sell. Okay, this was kind of an oops. This is a Carhartt vest. It should have sold for full price, but I put all my clothing on 20% off, and I didn't tell it not to put things that I had just listed. So I just listed this thing, and it sold as soon as it went 20% off. So I guess whatever, someone got a good deal. It's all good. $27.99 is what it sold for. I collected $35.24. Spent $1 on this at a thrift store. It's a weekend dollar day sale. Or actually, it's a back alley. They have a back alley, and all the clothing items are $1. $5.54 in fees, $7.04 in shipping. Total profit $21.66, but it only took 5 days to sell. So unfortunately, that was one of my better, higher priced items. This is another little thing that came out of a junk bag, or a little plastic bag of toys that I picked up at Goodwill. It sold for $9.99. I collected $13.35. It's a little less-ny. So these are vintage toys. You can barely see it. They're out of England. And there's another one. This one I think technically is supposed to go with a different car, but I didn't realize it. It has some condition issues, but I mentioned that. Spent about 50 cents on this. $1.91 in fees, $2.84 in shipping, $8.10 total profit. It took 2 months to sell. Here is a vintage mannequin. This thing was pretty unusual and pretty beat up. It's from the 40s. It was to teach young women how to sew. It definitely had condition issues. She was missing her nose. You know, but it had these patterns with it, which was kind of cool, that were all cut out and carefully organized. So that was kind of fun. It went to Canada. It sold for $54.99. I collected $90.07, but it went to Canada. $2 is about what I paid for this. It was in a lot of doll stuff that I bought at the auction. $10.41 in fees, $34.08 to ship to Canada. $43.58 was my total profit on that, and it took 3 months to sell. iClicker. Remember how I did a video on little electronics you can pick up, and I said, oh, don't bother listing the iClicker until the fall? Well, it sold. $34.99. I collected $38.27. I spent $1.99 at the Goodwill. Total profit on this was $29.24, and it only took a month to sell. So go ahead and list those iClickers, I guess. Collier's World Atlas and Gazetteer. This is vintage 1940s. A lot of people collect this because it's before World War II and the final lines drawn, so it's got some historical value as well. $24.99 is what it sold for. $29.82 is what I collected. I spent about $1. Again, it came from an auction. $3.89 in fees, $4.83 in shipping. Total profit $20.10, and it took a week to sell. Here is a Disney little cardboard cutout thing. I don't really even know what he went on. Maybe somebody else knew, but it was old. $34.99 is what it sold for. I collected $38.35. I spent $1 on this it came also in an auction lot with a bunch of kids' records. So maybe it was part of the records. I don't know. I didn't see where it belonged. Anyway, my total profit on that was $29.07. And that took 2 years and 8 months to sell. It's kind of a weird thing, but it was cool. And the last thing that I'm going to show you is this handheld mirror. I also didn't think this was worth very much, but the back was really unique and pretty. So it sold for $19.99. $28.49 is what I collected. I spent about $1 on this, also in an auction lot. I've had a lot of auction lots lately, which have been really good for me. Total profit on that was $15.50, and it took 2 weeks to sell. So looking at the numbers over the last 2 weeks, $330.64 is what everything sold for. I collected $450, $12.99. So that I made some good money because the most expensive thing was like $2. So that was great. $58.66 in fees, $109.64 in shipping. Total profit for 2 weeks. So this is pretty bad, but I was on vacation. $273.21. Amazon merch, I had 11 shirts sell and 1 pop socket, $54.54. So my total $327.75, which usually I make in a week. Took 2 weeks this time, but you know, it's like a paid vacation, so it's all good. I'm not even gonna say grim. It's just not even worth it. I was gone. I put my stuff on extended shipping, so for majority of my vacation it said 10 days because they break it down into various lengths until you get down to day 5, and then it goes down each day after that. And I wasn't sure if I was going to get back on a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday, so I kind of had to fudge that until I actually started driving back home. So that got kind of all screwed up. But the good news is I've already sold something today. So the fact that I'm home, I sold something yesterday, I'm feeling pretty confident that I can get things rolling again. I've already listed some stuff today. I'm going to list stuff tomorrow. I'm just going to be an absolute animal and just try to get that ball rolling again. So it is what it is. I know it's a slow time of year. People didn't get tax refunds. It's nice out. I don't know. There's a million reasons why they aren't buying your stuff, but whatever. As long as you list stuff that people want to buy, you're going to sell it. And that's basically the name of the game, is to go out there and try to find good stuff that people want to buy and have it at a price that they want to pay. It's really simple. So the only news is, if you're interested, Devin Winnig, the president, CEO of eBay, wrote a letter to the shareholders that you can get access to. It's on LinkedIn on his profile. It's pretty interesting. He talks about boosting up the platform, but one of the positive takeaways from that letter that I read was that he is really thinking about the sellers and enhancing the entrepreneurial spirit that eBay presents, and to not be in competition with its sellers. So unlike Amazon, which sells on its own platform, eBay does not sell anything on its platform. People who work for eBay are encouraged to sell on the platform, but they in no way are associated with eBay. So we're not competing with the platform that provides us an ability to sell. So that's pretty nice, because I've heard horror stories of people finding things to sell on Amazon, and then Amazon goes, oh look, that's selling really well, and then they offer it and they undercut you, and then you don't have a product anymore. So that's why I was encouraged to read his letter, and then just looking forward to what it is that they are going to develop and help us do with this new payment system, and if that's really going to help us improve. They just now accepted PayPal, so now we can start looking. They still don't have global shipping, so they don't have international sales. So until that point, I'm still going to stay with PayPal, but I'm looking forward to this new payment process system, and hopefully that'll be a better deal for all of us. So with that, another thing I just quick wanted to mention, I don't have any kind of Patreon or any kind of way to get support for my channel, so I have a couple things listed down below. One thing that I added this week was Airbnb, because we went to the coast of California and had a really great time. We stayed in a beautiful little house with a view of the ocean, and I just really like Airbnb and hope to someday own an Airbnb and make that part of my asset class and my passive income, as my husband likes to think of what I do for a living. And so I'm hoping that at some point I can also have an Airbnb, and so I love to stay in them as well, just for research for myself. So anyway, there's a link down below. You'll get $40 if you spend $75 at your first rental, and once that goes through, and everything's okie dokie, then I would get, I'm going to be full disclosure here, I would get $20 as well, credit. So with that, if you guys are going on vacation this summer and you're thinking about trying an Airbnb, I highly recommend it. I had a situation a few years ago where the owner was not around and I couldn't get in. I called Airbnb. They paid for us to stay to have dinner while they sorted it out, and they found the homeowner, and they said, they assured me that if it didn't work out, that they had my back and that they would cover us in a hotel. So it's sort of like eBay. There's some protection there, so that's why you pay a little bit more for Airbnb, but I really feel like you don't have to worry because they've got your back, and if anything happens, they are going to take care of you and make sure that things work out, and they'll get a hold of the homeowner, which they did, and it worked out, and it was a great house. It was also on the coast of California, and it was fabulous. Had a great time, but anyway, so there's that down in my description. So with that, I'd like to thank you guys for supporting me on my channel. I'm sorry it took me so long to get another video out. I did take some video of a flea market I went to in California. It was a tech flea market, and it was pretty interesting, and I got a couple good things there. So I'll try to get that mastered and put up sometime this week. With that, hope you guys go out and find some good stuff and have a great week. Talk to you soon.